Welcome everybody to another great episode of Real Life Matters. Of course, we're doing RLM Wealth Tips with Daniel Chin. If you guys haven't been watching the episodes, I encourage you to go back and watch them because they're very informative. And so you don't have to sit around and ask, well, what am I supposed to do? How do I get my investments? How do I get the best out of my investments in my apartment rentals? How do I do this? This is what he does all the time and every time. And you're probably saying, oh my gosh, he's on. Yeah, you know what? He's on, but you know what? He's giving that information that will impact you and impact when you're going to be doing your investments or before you get involved in any investments, what you should do. But anyways, I'm going to bring on, with no any further ado, I'll bring on Daniel Chin of Daniel Chin Properties. Welcome.
Hi, DBoss. I'm delighted to be back on your show. And I just want to say much appreciation to all your viewers and their questions. I'm very, appreciative.
I tell you, and we've been talking a lot about the apartment rentals and investments, and people have been asking a lot of what do you do, and you gave some some really good tips in the last episode that with regards to installation, because some people don't think that's important, and then people go out and buy heaters, and then that puts up your expense also, right?
Absolutely. You gotta do the proper work and do it once and not over again.
or you keep wanting to keep renovating the property because you went cheap, and if you watched the episode before, if you go cheap, you're going to end up
expensive
because you're going to have to go 2 or 3 times more than what it is. And you told us a little bit about the water tanks. That was some good information with regards to how many people per household is it, or?
Well, if it is like 6 people in a household, get a 50-gallon, that should be sufficient. If it is less than 4, a 40-gallon should be more than sufficient. However, do, pose that question to the water heater rental company, and they can reconfirm which size tank is suitable given the size of the property and the type of property.
Okay. Well, I got here. Stella wants to know, when you buy your property, as an investor, what's my advantage of buying a property, a competitive advantage as being a real estate investor?
Buying a property.
Yeah.
My competitive advantage, or what's the competitive advantage?
What's the competitive advantage as being a real estate investor?
Well,
a homeowner
versus a homeowner. Well, the similarities is, at the end of the day, you own the property. You're paying down your mortgage, and the principal portion of that mortgage is equity in your pocket. So that's money going in your pockets versus if you're a renter. So that's the difference between homeownership or renters. The difference between investors or just someone who owns a home is with investments, the emotions should not be in the picture. There is no emotions. The bottom line is profitability versus if you're a homeowner, you're going to have too much emotions about the property, and you would want to, renovating a home to live in is completely different from renovating a rental apartment.
Okay. But you ought to still spend the same kind of money, though, I would think.
Hopefully in the right places. So, if
how Daniel strategic, hopefully in the right places, like what do you want in your home?
So rental apartments, you put the right things that the tenants, that's going to be valuable for them. Versus if you own a home, it's all preference. If you want the swimming pool and jacuzzi in the backyard, then by all means, but it ain't going to put money in your pocket. So make sure you put the money in the right places.
Okay. So Stella wants to ask another question. She says that how do I make a budget when I'm going about to maybe do these renovations and stuff, like what's something's realistic? Is that what some people might come to you for, or how do people budget themselves?
Yep. So a very good question, Stella. Now, if you're in the business, you'll know the prices very well, because if you're doing it over and over again, renovating a kitchen, bathroom, etc., you will pretty much know the prices off the top of your head. Versus if you are getting into it the first time, trying to do a DIY, or it's your first time doing renovation, then I advise or suggest, don't really read things off the internet and believe everything you read off the internet. Do try to have referrals and deal with the right people, or you can connect with the boss, and the boss has a large network to point you in the right direction. But you deal with the right people.
Okay, so Susan, she wants to say, okay, when it comes to the renovations, do I have to do like an evaluation, like replace or repair? Like what do I do? Do I go through and make a checklist, or how would she go about something like that?
Yep. So if you're trying to do it yourself, Susan, that's where, if you got the knowledge, or you deal with someone who's the expert, or deal with the right person. But, you have to get a sense of, how, badly is the current picture, or how many deficiencies are there in the property that is in dire need of a repair or renovations. And then of course consult the right parties to come in and give quotes, or multiple quotes, such that you can really budget wisely. And again, I emphasize or reiterate, dealing with the right people, because the wrong people can take so much from you in so many ways. That's just how the business is.
I think that's what you said in one of the first episodes. You have a contract.
You gotta have a contract. But again, yes, it's one of the principles I wrote in the Manifested Millionaire book. Always put things in writing. But at the end of the day, it's who it is you're dealing with. And sometimes when you just, it happens, if you deal with the bad person, or the wrong person, it can make your life like hell.
Oh my God. I'm just thinking about some of the people that we had to ask these questions. But well, David wants to know, okay, when it comes to kitchen cabinets, should you repaint them, or the handles, replace the handles, countertops? He just wants to know, like what's the best thing, or buy kitchen cabinets outright, or what to do.
Case by case basis. If the kitchen can still be preserved, and you want to upgrade the handles, and you think a paint job is sufficient, you have to do a cost benefit analysis. If a complete demolition, like you remove the kitchen entirely, and it only costs you, $2,000 something to put in all new kitchen cabinets, upper cabinets, base cabinets with a laminate countertop, right? Then it's all cost benefit, cost versus benefit. But if it is, only about less than $1,000, and you want to just do a bit of cosmetic work, and give it a bit of a facelift, like they say in the business, then that's okay, given the cabinets are still in good, reasonable condition.
So, and then, well, David wants to ask a question. He says, walls and the carpet take up a lot of the real estate. Carpet, I haven't seen people carpet. Yeah, carpet.
Yep. Go on.
Go ahead.
Yep. So the question is, if carpets take up a lot?
Yeah, a lot of the real estate, walls and carpets. So I guess, so what would you, do you knock out some of these walls to make it more, suitable, or, because carpet changes a room totally, like if you put carpet, it looks totally different. Like that's a lot of people hide up the real estate with the carpet, right? Because you won't know what under the carpet until something happens to the carpet.
Yeah. So you want to, if you're still in the purchasing process, do lift up the supply, the air vent, and then try to lift beneath and see what's beneath the carpet, right? Is there multiple layers? Is this just, sort of a shortcut type of renovation work because they don't
I
want
guess
to
you've done that before, right, Daniel?
all of those things in the pre-inspection. I've seen all of the above of the boss, and some things, as mentioned in the previous episodes, it's unbelievable the things people do. And once it's a buyer beware, and then the property is closed, then the new property owner or the buyer has to deal with those problems. And it's very unfortunate. You see patchwork on top of patchwork on top of patchwork, when all you got to do is just do it right and proper the first time. But ideally, carpets, no carpets is ideal, right? And of course, no carpets and just nice laminate or hardwood floors is more valuable, and a more valuable apartment. And to answer to answer the latter part of the question is, don't go be knocking out walls like like what you see on HETV. Mike Holmes just knocking out walls, and it looks all great because you knock out the wrong wall, and if it's a load bearing, then the property comes crashing down. So you have to know what it is you're doing, and what is load bearing wall, what is structural, what you can remove, what you can't. Of course, we all love the open concept, but if you open concept the wrong way, then your property comes coming down, and it's very unsafe, and you have bigger and more liabilities when you do things improperly. And I've seen those in some properties where permits wasn't used, or things was just not done properly because they hired the wrong person.
Wow. So Paul wants to know. So wait, going back to the other question. So are people doing more carpet? I don't think so, right? Are they carpeting the stuff today? I don't think so.
Carpets are still used, and
area
there are area rugs. They're still used, and there are the type of cushiony, comforty type of carpets, and that's like more than $1 a square feet. But if you're using the really cheap ones, that is like 60 cents or less a square feet, and a very thin underlayment, then again, cheap is expensive. I can tell you, the last time I had carpets in a rental apartment is when I installed it, and it was the quickest, quicker job to get done. And I can tell you, a year later, I had to rip it all off and install fiberglass vinyl plank floor material that looks like hardwood finishes. And I can tell you, that's more long lasting, durable, waterproof, and you install those types of material, and you wouldn't have to renovate floors again for another 5 to 10 years.
Okay, so I got Paul here. He asked a question about instead of replacing the whole bathroom, the vanity, the kitchen sink, the tapware. Is it beneficial just to give it a new shower head, or?
Well, again, it's very, if it is if half of the bathroom or more than 50% of the bathroom, you still got the pink bathtub, the pink old bathtub. And then you have one nice upgraded vanity sink, right, which is like nice what do you call it, porcelain countertop, and then nice European style, and you got a nice mirror. I mean, have a consistent look and feel. If you got to go the extra mile, and it's still within the budget, and you can still do it cost effectively, then do so. Now, if it is simply the shower bathtub tiles is still decent and it's good, and all you got to do is upgrade those very old faucets and put a nice chrome handle faucets, shower faucets, and a nice I've heard there's these shower heads that they use in the hotels, and it's like it soaks in you, very relaxing. But it's all preference.
You your water pressure up for that to come out too.
Absolutely. And here's a secret: if there's no volume, there's no pressure. If you got no volume in the pipes, you got no pressure. So in some
Well,
of the
maybe more money.
properties,
If we made more money to do that, then that, you know what I
yeah,
mean, to get the pressure to come through, because
yeah,
people like to have that pressure coming
yep,
through.
yep. And with properties with more than one apartments, some have just a half-inch copper pipe on the main supply line from the city coming into the property. I
Mm,
have recently upgraded to at least a 3/4 inch. You can go a bit more, one and a quarter, 1.5, I believe. Because if you have more volume, right, then you're gonna have the pressure. Because sometimes you can have pressure on the main floor, but then the top floor, the third floor, they're only getting drips, coming through the shower. And of course, it's not nice if you can't take a proper shower every day. Yep.
with half the water. So that's something else that's important, is the water distribution in your house.
Absolutely. So prior to buying any property,
Mm-hmm.
always check the water pressure. Turn on all the taps, right, including the shower, the sink, the vanity sink in the bathroom, and then flush the toilet and see how powerful the flush is. If it is very weak, then
Mm-hmm.
there may be some plumbing issues, and you would want to pay attention to those things, because if there are signs of plumbing issues, it could
Mm-hmm.
probably have been like that for a long time, and God knows what's behind those walls and those plumbing pipes, from the previous owners, for the lifetime of that property.
But you wouldn't really know that, Daniel, if you're just going in and looking at the property. I guess when you do that little trick, but how would you know that the pipes, maybe they have it set that the pipes can work, when we do that? So how?
Yep. So what you do, you turn on all the taps, turn on all the pipes, and of course, if the basement is unfinished, you go straight to where the main supply line is. And if the basement is unfinished and you can see anything, however, what I can tell you, the boss, some of the professional flippers, the ones who don't do things properly,
Mm,
they know the game and they know how to cover things up.
mm,
And it's a bit unfortunate, but that's how the business is. But do deal with the right people, and of course the right home inspector. But sometimes the home inspectors, they only get like 80% of the picture, and they're also just doing a job to get paid $400. But there are some reputable home inspectors who can give you a whole detailed home inspection report, to save you some money and not learning it the hard, expensive way after the fact you closed on the deal.
mm. Well, that's a good one. That's a major one, because like a lot of people like that water coming out properly.
Yep, because if you turn on the taps, who was the question from? It was
Paul.
Paul. So, Paul, if you turn on the taps and then you hear the pipes going bang, 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 then it's not, braced properly on the stud of the, of the framing of the wall. And then, some you can just tell, pick up on any little signs. And if you don't know, carry someone who's experienced at looking at properties, and they can tell you.
All right. Well, Lionel, he wants to ask, okay, he doesn't want to, how do I know when on my investing property, when I'm over capitalizing on my upgrades? Like for instance, like I could use a plain backsplash as is more effective. It's just as effective as an ornamental mosaic. So how would I know that?
How would you know?
Not to over capitalize on upgrades. Some people say, why don't you get this and why don't you get that? And
Yep. So understanding quality and prices, and of course how, of course having those materials installed properly. So sometimes if it is the investor, have to always think like this. The boss, the investor, has to think like this: you are not living in the property. It is the person who's renting is living in the property. So if
Okay.
your wife says, oh, I love the mosaic backsplash and all this nice stuff, your wife is not renting the property.
He
Your
living at home.
it is the renter. So do select the materials accordingly that would appeal the most to the renters. And in some cases, some of the neutral mosaic backsplash with the earth tone colors or some neutral colors, it's perfectly fine and it's appealing. So something that's neutral. But if you're gonna put something bizarre or something very out of what is normally, like something very, what's that word, where it's too much with the design and not everyone loves it, then that can be a deterrent for someone. But if you put just simple mosaic strip tiles or just the regular white tiles, something neutral, that's fine. But don't go overboard. Always ask yourself, if I was the renter, would this be something that's appealing to me? And
Mhm.
of course, from the cost perspective, does this make sense? Paying a buck or two per square feet for the tile, and is it good money spent for the
Mhm.
rent that you would receive for for another 5 years or 10 years until you may have to re-renovate this backsplash again. So the cost and the benefit over a 5 or 10 year period, because to have to do renovations every year because you picked the wrong person and they're gonna smash that backsplash,
Mm.
and every year you gotta redo a backsplash, then that will become a full-time job.
Oh, jeez. And what about like that? Like picking you're picking some of these light colors, and if people have a big family, some of those light colors aren't going to work because they'll stain. You got to think of that too, right? Like this, like the wear and tear. Like if
Yep.
you got like a 4 bedroom and you got a family of 7 in there.
Yep. So neutral colors,
Hmm.
light gray, or in some cases, a bit of a, light yellow, something neutral. And,
Okay.
with the paint color, if it's eggshell or flat, that's okay, but nothing, that. And of course, my rule when it comes to painting, there's no painting allowed in the first year. But if the
Hmm.
tenancy has been renewed a second time, or like in subsequent years, and it's a longer term tenancy, then of course, it is, I provide consent for them to paint the walls, and that's okay, because at the end of the day they have to feel happy, like they're at home.
Okay.
So yep, so always try to think of what's appealing to the renter. And of course, you mentioned families. Now that's a different type of rental,
Hmm.
because sometimes if there's children, they may want to paint the room pink or blue. So it's a different type of rental. Yeah.
Okay. And what type of paint and the paint you use so that they can wipe it off or clean the walls.
So then with the type of pin, knowing your materials, right? There
Hmm.
is the Benjamin Moores, the Sherwin Williams, right? Eggshell or flat is fine. Zero VOC, right? Like that's, all those things you can find out information from the paint store. And yes, there is the type of paint, if that can wipe out, but again, all those information find out from the paint store. But I use Benjamin Moores or Sherwin Williams.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
not endorsing them, but
but
yeah,
they didn't pay us some money for talking about this. But
but
anyway,
it's good quality paint. Yeah.
well, this has been a really great episode. It went so fast because all the information. But it's good. But it's good because a lot of people learned today. We've learned so much. There's so much that we've got that you've impacted the people with the information that there's a lot of things to think about. It's not just you're investing just in a property. You're investing in a lifestyle, and also not your lifestyle, but the people that are potentially going to be renting the lifestyle. So and you covered a lot of those bases by just telling people that. Like, so of course, Lionel, you don't pick something like a mosaic
Yeah.
for somebody that's not, you're not living there. So it's the other people. So you got to,
Yeah.
and that was it.
Mosaic is fine, but the type of style is what you'd have to think about. And the
Mhm.
bottom line, the boss, is there's a difference if you're in the business or not in the business, and dealing with the right people or the wrong people. And then at the end of the day, that you actually treat it like a business, because you have to put yourself in the customer's shoes, or in this case, which is the tenants or the renters, and you really have to care for them, and as though, if you were living in that place, your things that you will desire, the important factors that's meaningful to you and that's appealing to you, having the laundry and convenience, the spacious bedroom closets, high ceilings, big windows, and
Mhm.
all those things, renovated kitchens and bathrooms, etc. And believe it or not, it doesn't have to be a lot of money spent. You can still do it very cost effectively and create that wow factor.
Okay, well, the wow factor is the time is up. When something interesting, the time goes really fast. I'm telling you, with Daniel, the time just goes twice away. But you could go find him on his website. Tell them where they can find you if they want to reach out. If you need him to consult to come out and help you do a property, it's not for free, but you can bring it, let him come out there with you, just so you don't make these mistakes. So tell everybody you're coming from.
Yep, so chinproperties.com, or you can contact the boss, and somehow you'll find me, because we'll be continue doing these RLM Wealth tips, to help, the first time homeowner, or the first time investor, or first time renovator, who is, trying to be successful at what they do. So we'll continue to put it, as per popular demand.
All right, everybody. I do thank you today for tuning in to RML Health Tips with the girl here, DeBoss, and Daniel Chin. So everybody, stay in tune with investment. It's summertime now. Let's go. Let's everybody go. Just because we're in lockdown doesn't matter. So anyways, bye for now. Have a great evening.